Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report, starting with the ASX200. The Elliott wave count for the daily chart here. Our primary count is wave 3 up here, with an A wave here, a B wave here, and then 5 waves for wave C of 4 here. We do have other counts as well. The other counts would be that the top here is wave 1, and we're looking for wave 2 to pull back into the 50-60% retracement level. So then we would be looking at this as an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here for wave 2. Now, the line in the sand, so to speak, on the bearish side, just from the outset here, if the 6,000 was breached, then we would be on the bearish side. If the 6,100 area here, for whatever reason, became the support here, it's okay for the market to move up to this point, but to find support on this level here would turn all of this bullish, all of this move here bullish. So then we'd be looking for the long side up there. So, as I mentioned before, we're in a bit of a tricky situation here, and we need a little bit of strategy to help us. So, but on the outset here, the 6,100 as a tested support, and will be long, and the 6,000 here will be short. So let's just go in and investigate this here, because we are looking at this move down here as an impulse wave, as 5 waves, and then we were looking for this move up here to move into, well, to either touch on the 61.8% retracement level or the top of the box here, the 61.8% retracement level. We were looking at this market also falling with the US markets as well. So I might just bring up the US markets here for a second. So the primary count we've got for the US markets is kind of the same really in a way, because we're looking for wave 3 here, an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave over here for this B wave here, and we're looking for 5 waves up in the C wave here. So we've got a little bit more to go here just to get into the 2,800 and then folding over from that point there. We also have a bullish count for this too, where these 5 waves up here become wave 1 and then we pull back again, but we still need this to finish up here, and it still has, I think if I just go to the hourly chart here, we've still got this little move in here to go, far as I know, but a breach below the 2772 here, the orange line, then we're in bearish mode at that point there. But I do think this is corrective here. We have one more little push up here, but this little push up through here could take our market a little bit higher, you know, in through here. So let's just investigate this here, 4-hour chart, I guess. So with the 4-hour chart here, we're looking at the move down here as wave 1 or wave A here, and the move back up here as wave B or wave 2. So the move that I currently got up here at the moment is the A wave here with an A and a B and a C wave here. That fits quite nicely. I have to say that little B wave up here looks like an impulsive wave, you know, like another wave 1 and 2 here. But it does have like 5 waves coming down here. And 5 waves in this little structure. So I think I'm on the right track, but if I've made an error, that's where it's going to be. Well, there's 2 errors in here. So then from wave B here, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here finishing here. And that's it. The other mistake that can be in here for the 5 waves is that this being here, the top of the third here, then an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here, and we go up one more up through to here. But at the same time, this move down through here, it counts. Let's just go to an hourly chart, I think. So this is how we're looking at it here. Try not to look at too much other noise here. So we've got the move down here, that can be wave 1 or wave A here, and then we're looking up here as we've been working through as an A wave here, a little A, B and C here. As I mentioned, this little B wave here doesn't really give me, it looks like more like 5 waves rather than 3 waves that it should be here. but this here gives me 5 waves, and this one here also gives me 5 waves as well here. So I'm going to run with that at the time at this stage, but if it does push high, then this is one area that the mistake can be made. The move up here is not that clear, but we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 and back for 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, an A and a B and a C here for the wave 4, and then up for wave 5 here for wave C, which can be wave 2 or wave B here. So that would leave us with this as wave 1 to the downside. We can look at that in a moment on the tick chart. But the other point here is that this wave 4 could also be here as well, and then this becomes the A wave, the B wave here, and the C wave here for wave 4. But it doesn't really matter too much at this stage, because if this low is breached now, then we can move into the to the lower side. Let's just go into the tick chart to get a bit more detail in this particular area through here. So if this is a top in here, okay, then we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down through to here. Then we will see if the US has got to rally, then we may rally with it, we may not. I can't draw on this side, but basically we're looking for an A and a B and a C back into the 660 area, 665 area, the 61.8%, and then down from there. So at this stage, we're looking at this here being a trigger to, oops, wrong one, a trigger to the downside, but it would be nice to get a better entry on that there as well. That's just going to take a little bit more time. So if, let's just focus on this area here a little bit. So if the 60.72 here becomes support, even this is all of group 2 here, so 65, 72 and 80, so 65 actually becomes the support. It's okay for the market to trade above it, but to come back and land on it and actually find support after a couple of squiggles across it, then you know that you're going to be bullish from that point, and then you would that would bring the flag up, and then you would look to add on to 72 onto 80, but you would want to exit it at the 6100 area here if that was the case. Otherwise, we'll come up to this somewhere up. This is this block here is the supply level. This is where the volume's been turned over. So, this is where the resistance is going to be. So, it may not come up into this area here. So, yes, we'll just have to. Have to be a little bit mindful here, but this low here, if this is breached, then we can move down with that. There might be, looking at this here, we may end up with another move down from here down to here as well, and then we're coming too low at that point. If I'm looking at 1 and 2 and 3, an A and a B and a C here for 4, I think I'm right here. Yeah, so we'll be at short at this point, but still you'll need to leave the stop out of the way to back up here just in case. The trend down is going to be a fair distance, so we can look to add. So if this is breached, add say 1. I'll just talk in ones because most people trade in ones, but you can use your own number of 10 and 20 and so on. But 1 here, and then when the 2 here becomes the resistance, add another 1 here, and then wait for the 6 to become the resistance at that point, and then add to there. And we can also add through group 2 here as well, and also the midpoint here. So we can build into this trade. We've got a fair way to go with all of this if it's going to be to the downside here. But we don't have the US on our side at the moment, so we would be moving down. Not so much alone, because the UK market is, the European markets are linked to ours. So we've also been looking down for 1 here or wave A, and then across for wave B here. And I can see that the move down through here has created overlapping wave structures. So we're probably, for this market, for the UK 100, the FTSE, we're probably on our way down here now. So just keep an eye on all those open and closes there. Once that becomes the resistance, then we'll be following this market to the downside here as well. Okay, well that's sort of it for that. I'll come across to the other Asian markets, and the Nifty here. It's moved up quite high here, but we're still looking at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to play out. So I think it's played out here already. So we'll be looking for a move down here now. In the same sort of pattern. So I'll just go to the 4-hour chart. We've been working these on the 4-hour chart. So as you remember, this is the top here. So we had 5 waves moving down, and then an A and a B, and then looking up for a C wave, which will be the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And this is a little bit messy in here. I haven't quite got my noggin around it. But the thing here that we've got is we've got the 10,800 area here. So we're looking, it's doing all the right things for a positive move up and a negative move here in terms of we've got the arrival, the reaction. Now we're looking for the first high above the level here. So we should see some type of corrective move down through here. But at the same time here, we need to look at this here being on the, now that it's made the first high above the level there, we need to be looking on the long side here now for this as well. I mean, on the bullish side for this particular market here, even though I count 5 waves down here, this here, you see how big it is compared to this here? You know, it shouldn't be like that. I mean, it can be like, not for a wave 2 anyway, coming back up. If this is wave 1 and this is wave 2 here, then it's not a very good wave 2. It can be a B wave. A B wave is fine, but as a wave 2, it's just too big in relationship to this move down through here. So there's something a little bit wrong here, but I just want to give it a session or two to play out at the 10.8 here, and then we'll pick it up from that point there. The Nikkei is pretty much the same as well, different, same but different. Still looking for it to have one more little push up here for this. So this is more in line with the US market in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the C of B. So one more little move coming up here. This is also playing out at the 23,000 here. And this is important as well because it's the top of group 1. So 2 is a major level. And then we've got group 1 of minor group 1, which is 1, 2 and 3 here. So if we get a tested support on top of 3 here eventually, then we'll be bullish from that point, and then we'll move up to the 25 at that stage. But we don't have support here yet, and it's got a fair bit to play out here as well. On the 4-hour chart here, maybe you've got a count here. Okay, so what we were talking about before here is trading long here, moving up, because we could count this as an A and a B and a C in this case here. So we're looking to go long above here, and then we moved a stop up to this point here. So we don't need these now here because I'm just going to delete that, and we just don't need that. So we're going to take profit here, so we don't need that. I'll keep my little green line and I'll put that little green line just under here. Now I can see here that we've got wave 1 and 2 here. I'll just count this out here. So probably not the right degree of structure here, but I can change that later. We've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third. We've got the fourth here as a nice ABC correction. And then wave 5. I think wave 5's here because we've got 1 and 2 here. Maybe it's in here, 3, 4 and 5. We could possibly have one more little move up here, but I'm not that fussed about it. So I also want to give this some session to play out here. But this one here would be a short trade trigger at this point. But I just want to see how this plays out here before we. In fact, I won't put that there yet. I'll just give myself. I don't need to stress myself out. But let's just see how this top plays out here. It'll take a while for it to get support on the 23 if that's going to be the case, but we want to be looking at the downside from here. And then the Hang Seng here as well. So in this case here, we've got a bullish count where we've got wave 3 here, and this is sort of in line with China more so. So wave 3 here, an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave here for the B wave, and then down for the C wave here. The C wave is a bit short here compared to wave A, so that's the problem. But the move up through here, we could look at this as wave 1 and then pulling back to wave 2 here and then moving up into wave 3. Now, I've also got a bearish count for this as well, so it doesn't really matter, but one of the first things that we can look at here is that if the market makes a new high above that high here, then we can be on the long side from there, okay? We also need to have a look at the short side as well, so I'll just go to the 4-hour chart here. So in this case here, we've got a situation where we've got wave 3 here, an A wave here, and then counting it as an A and a B and a C wave, a D wave, and an E wave for wave B here, and then move down. So we've had these long trades in here. We can take that out now because we've been stopped out. So we had a really tight stop in there before. So I'll just move these. So that's fine there. So we're going to look to go long if that top gets taken out here. That move from here to here, the 61.8% mark is here. I can see that this little pattern in here is corrective, so it's likely that we're going to be moving down into this space here for this. Okay, so realistically, you know, and there is the chance too that we can come further down through here too for this wave C coming down here. So that's on the cards as well. So it's, you know, if you're keen with this market, then we could also look at being short under this move down through here, under this low here, even though it might not get you very far, and then you put the stop under here, about there, because it could come down further. It may not. You may break even. So I'll just leave that with you. It may only come to, you know, it may only come down to here and then move up from that point, which would trigger that long trade here. So in this case here, I'll put that across here. In this case here, I'll shorten this one here because that will be that trigger there. So even if that does come down about here, then, you know, we can bring the stop down further, but it'll just take a little bit of time to do that there. The Chinese market, we were looking at this here, the A50, top 50. So an A wave, a B wave, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down to here. So we're also looking at this being wave 1 here, and coming back for wave 2, which it sort of has done. So in this case here, if this top gets taken out, then we need to be long. That would be a long trade trigger from that point there. If it was going to do something like the Hong Kong market, then we can look at going short as well. I just want to have a look on the 4-hour chart first. So we're looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down through here. It does only appear to be possibly, well, I can see this is wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, a fourth wave, and a very small fifth wave making a new high. So we can have 5 waves there at that particular point here. So we were going to go long here on this one, so I'll just put that there, but we can also improve on that, and I think that we should. I mean, the Elliott wave is important because it really helps us with the direction, but as you know, it can be a bit subjective, and sometimes we know what's going on, and sometimes we've got to kind of get in, we don't, and we need to get into strategy. So this is getting into strategy here, because I think it's important to take signals. So that would be it, getting a better signal here at that particular point there. This is an important number here, and I can just highlight that a little more darker color because it's the 12,500 here, so that's really important. So yeah, on the short side, if we have to take the short side, then we can take this here. So what we'll do now is we're just basically we're just working into this space now, you know, looking for a trigger, and that's fine. don't need that. So that's what would sort of justifying that there. So just in case this is, I can see that's 5 waves. It's either the low or wave 1, and this, I'm just not clear if this is 5 waves. It can work with 5 waves, but it could also pan out as 3 waves as well. So it may just come up to supply levels and drop here. So if it drops here, because from this low here to this high here, because that's the 61.8% there, if that's breached this time, then we'll be on our way to the downside. And I think that we need to just have that there, you know. We may be able to bring this here down to this top here, but and you can do that because this has moved down now, just refining it further. But yeah, I can't count that in here. It's a bit messy. I don't know if that's 1 and 2 or this is 1 and 2 and 3 here, but we may end up getting something like this here, coming back here and then moving off. So I don't know. So this one here is a little bit higher risk here on this one here. All right, okay, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.